Really bizarre tip-offs have come in about bots that are immune to being reported. They're level 3s picking up snape grass on Waterbirth Island. Snape grass is only 220 GP each. Not the most profitable bot. I found them pretty quickly after the tip-offs came in. They log out about 5 seconds after coming into contact with another player, and there's one in about every other world, so probably a couple hundred bots total. At first I read the tip-off like there was no option to report them, but there still is when you right-click them. What's crazy is, nothing happens when you click report. It just doesn't work. And it's so hard to believe that somehow the bots are preventing you from reporting them. I teleported to the Grand Exchange and started right-clicking report on any player around. I didn't actually report them, of course. The report pop-up appears. It works. It would seem that a botter has figured out how to block other players from getting the report pop-up when a bot is right-clicked. Maybe something else is going on, but this is just my impression, and also every other person who sent me a tip-off about these bots' impression. I was, however, able to report the bots by manually typing in their username still in the report screen. But it's a pretty concerning bug. I got a tip about a huge bot farm doing the Halloween event. This event is abused every single year. This time, it was even more cleverly planned and executed than usual. The tip says there are lots of fresh bots doing the Halloween event in Falador. Just like pickpocketing, you can trick or treat with the Falador guards and receive up to 5 treats. I started hopping through worlds there, and there were between 2 to 10 bots in every single free-to-play world, just at the Falador guards alone. You can trick or treat with lots of NPCs in the game. In the beginning of the event, you're supposed to walk around in different areas of the game to talk to specific NPCs who give you more treats. In Lumbridge, Draenor Village, Varrock, and Falador, and I saw some bots talking to the person in Falador, the town crier as well, so they do that step of the event too. But there's a very specific reason they're at the Falador guards, because in one world, I noticed a few of the bots running over to the general store, and there was another level 3 waiting, not wearing the spooky outfit. And we'll get into that right after this. Thanks to today's sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN is a super easy to use, high-performing VPN. Just select a server to connect to and click Quick Connect. Just like that, a few important things happen. First, your IP address is now masked. This helps prevent DDoS attacks, which is where someone with your IP address attempts to bring down your network connection. Second, when you connect to a NordVPN server, your online traffic is now encrypted, making it harder for cybercriminals to spy on you. More specifically, NordVPN's connection prevents something called a man-in-the-middle attack, where, for example, you're in a public setting using public Wi-Fi and a cybercriminal has inserted themselves between you and the Wi-Fi, collecting your data and sometimes even altering it. NordVPN even has a kill switch that does a system-wide network lock in case connection to a NordVPN server ever drops. One account also protects up to 6 devices, so get an exclusive deal on a 2-year plan here at nordvpn.com/sirpuggervpn. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. So I found the bots in another level 3 in the general store. The bots then sold the Halloween mask sets and pumpkins to the general store, which is the loot from the event, and they were immediately purchased by the other mule bot. After bumbling around trying to buy the rares as they came in, I used the menu swapper and was able to snag some of the last rares sold on that world. Then, the level 3 mule hopped. I couldn't figure out the exact pattern for when this occurs or what triggers it. Some spooky bots would run over to the general store and then hop worlds. Other times a mule would hop into the world, triggering some of the spooky bots to run over, or the spooky bots would wait in the general store. I was able to intercept a few more trades, but because I couldn't figure out the exact pattern, it seemed kind of random. I couldn't just steal all the loot. And unfortunately, this is actually a pretty smart way to mule. No trades are occurring and the general store values these rares at 1 GP, so the transaction cost through the general store is almost nothing, other than also the lost loot to curious players like me. But that unfortunately actually helps the bots. If they were just trading, Jagex might consider a chain ban for whoever accepted those trades down the line. Whoever the bots trade stuff to would very likely be involved. However, since random players can intercept these trades via the general store, Jagex has to be more careful when banning. What's even stranger is the bots seem to have the loot on them from finishing the event, but are continuing to trick-or-treat, which is why they run over to the general store directly from trick-or-treating. They would have had to go to Varrock to turn in their treats and get their loot first. And from what I know, and from testing it, you can't get more loot after completing the event. Maybe they're just programmed to continue trick-or-treating until they're able to mule, and then they can log out. I'm not completely sure. The next day I checked back and the bot farm seemed to be even bigger. with 10 plus accounts in every world, so there are very clearly thousands of bots doing the event every single day. The event gives you 80k GP, 2 pumpkins and 2 Halloween mask sets. So let's say conservatively 3,000 bots complete the event daily. That seems like a low estimate given there are 500 to 1,000 bots doing the event at any given time. 3,000 bots, each getting 80k loot, is 240 million GP per day. And if the event is live for 15 days, that's at least 3.6 billion GP from this free-to-play bot farm, if the price of these rares don't completely crash. Usually the prices do crash in these events, but there's a floor level where collectors want to scoop up the items for their collections. And the thing is, it's difficult for Jagex to ban these bots right away as they probably only run for an hour or two, so Jagex would have to detect them in the first few minutes they're online and issue a ban before they collect their loot. That's probably also why this keeps happening year after year. Someone reached out telling me about a method of training some bots may be using, and they had test footage of the script running. The bot seems to be training agility using toy mice. You only get 3 agility XP per mouse you release and then catch, and the bot appears to be on one of the towers of the Falador Castle. However, the major benefit to botters, especially at lower agility levels, is the lack of visibility by other players. It looks like the bot is getting around 7,000 agility XP per hour here, and the Draenor Manor agility course caps out at around 10,000 per hour. This way, players never see the bots and there are fewer in-game reports about them. Theoretically lower ban rates. A very sneaky move by the botters. And as it turns out, the more enclosed the space, the better the XP per hour using this method. Here, with only 2 tiles available, it gets up to 8,600 XP per hour. In the footage, it seems like the botter is experimenting with different methods. They try getting a combo of magic and agility XP by alking and catching the mice at the same time. In this case, alking while doing rooftop agility is probably the more efficient option. Interesting to see though, and unfortunately we might have some sneaky agility bots hiding around the game. At some point this month, a fully automated Tombs of Amascut bot was released, capable of completing raids at the highest level of invocations, 515 plus, which means the chance of any unique drop is super high every single time a raid is completed. Let's actually skip to the end of this clip. Here you can see the raid was completed in just under 53 minutes. Solo, level 515 invocation. On the upper right hand side, you can see the chance of a unique drop is calculated at around 18%. Now, if you actually do the math here and see how much GP is made just from an 18% chance at a unique, it's ridiculous. All you have to do is multiply all the uniques by their probability once a unique is rolled, add those up, and multiply by 18%. That number is 13.1 million GP in 53 minutes. Now, the number probably only goes up to like 13.5 mil with regular drops, but my point is, there are now bots soloing TOA, making well over 13 million GP per hour in an instance where no one can report them. Not good. That's not good at all. I'm guessing the Tumakin's shadow is going to crash down from 1.3 billion GP, but who knows, that's not merching advice. Actually, I hadn't even checked if the staff dropped. Turns out it did. This bot was released on October 10th. Maybe it's a coincidence, but that's pretty ridiculous. There would have to be a lot of TOA bots to affect the price that much that quickly. There seems to be a small war going on between deathmatching clans and high-risk PvP worlds right now. I'm interested because this war is sometimes fought with bots. Rag bots, more specifically. That's what you're seeing on screen. One deathmatching group rounded up and trapped lots of these rag bots in the pig pen in Draenor Village. These players lured some of the bots all the way from Lumbridge. I don't know who owns the bots, if it's a clan or individual or what, but there are lots of them. So why in the world are people creating dozens of maxed melee rag bots? Sometimes maxed ranged, you see all sorts. Well, the deathmatching clans that have the most market share of that gambling method rake in billions of gold daily, as they often charge GP for ranks in the clan, and take a small cut of every pot. I've heard of recent reports of up to 12 billion GP just for a rank in some of the larger clans. Deathmatches are consolidated to basically only the high-risk PvP world, so these clans literally fight to control territory to protect their profits. And to upset individuals or clans, use these bots to disrupt other deathmatching clan operations or to protect their territory. Anyone who is set as a target gets ragged at all the popular deathmatching spots like Lumbridge and the Grand Exchange. And since deathmatchers are almost always maxed accounts, that also means these rag bots are almost all maxed melee. So whoever's running them is willing to risk dozens of maxed melee rag bots that probably get banned semi-frequently just to frustrate the other gambling participants. I've definitely been getting more tip-offs about different kinds of rag bots in this context, so there's definitely a lot of tension in the deathmatching community right now.